Rates of depression, anxiety, and stress are increasing at an alarming rate.
Test scores are dropping, dropout rates are increasing, graduation rates are falling.
Obesity and chronic illness rates are skyrocketing.
And it's all because of one issue:
sleep deprivation.
Let's hear from our mental health expert, Jude.
The mental health crisis in our country, and more specifically college students, is of high concern. Numerous studies show that sleep deprivation is a major underlying factor. It is a root cause for intensifying negative emotion and diminishing positive ones. 71% of college students in the United States say that they suffer from sleep deprivation of some kind. Findings confirm a high level of sleep deprivation correlates directly to high levels of stress, anxiety, and depression. Statistically, 58% of students suffer from anxiety, 34.1% suffer from stress, and 60% are classified as having a mental health problem. Addressing this epidemic by encouraging a sufficient quality sleep at night must be seen as a foundational component of the student's well-being, safety, and academic success.
Let's take a closer look at the real impact of sleep deprivation on cognitive performance. When we examined the data, one thing became very clear. Losing sleep leads to a noticeable decline in core mental abilities like attention, reaction time, and overall alertness. These are skills students and working professionals rely on constantly, so even small drops can have meaningful consequences. Interestingly, not every function is affected in the same way. Basic decision-making in familiar situations and simple rule-based reasoning tend to stay relatively stable, but the more complex abilities such as creativity, innovation, and emotional understanding are far more vulnerable. Neuroimaging studies of the prefrontal cortex really highlight this. They show that emotional processing networks are especially sensitive to sleep loss. That means that the effects go deeper than just feeling unfocused or tired.
Now that we've heard about some of the mental effects of sleep deprivation, let's go ahead and look at some of the physical ones. So first of all, sleep deprivation can cause a raise in cortisol. What cortisol is a stress hormone that is produced here in the adrenal glands, and the body actually produces this hormone as a attempt to stay alert more, especially when you have sleep deprivation. It'll try to keep your body more alert. And some of the negative effects of this can be a higher blood pressure, which, because cortisol will actually tighten your blood vessels and lead to overall increase in pressure, and it also can increase cholesterol production. It actually will, this is HDL, which is known as good cholesterol, and LDL, which is known as bad cholesterol. Cortisol will actually increase your LDL and decrease your HDL, which will overall lead to a higher blood pressure, and it can lead to some more chronic diseases down the line. A couple more indirect effects. It can lead to a weakness of the immune system, which can cause you to get sick more and overall decrease your health as you progress in life. It can cause obesity. And this is actually caused by some of those increases in hormones, and it also, a lot of studies link sleep deprivation to an increase in appetite, because as you get less sleep, you get less rest, you need more fuel to keep going. And then finally, it leads to an increase in diabetes. A lot of studies show sleep deprivation linked to diabetes because it can, because of that increase in hormones like cholesterol and cortisol and some other hormones, it actually increases your affinity for type 2 diabetes. Now that we've covered the facts of the matter, let's talk to some LSU students to see some real-world examples.
How many hours of sleep would you say you get on average?
3 to 5 hours a night.
Would you say that your cognitive ability and physical ability to perform in school and outside of school is affected by your amount of sleep?
I think I'm used to operating on pretty low amounts of sleep, but yes, I'm definitely more tired, more lethargic with less sleep.
How likely are you to get more sleep if you were not in school?
Way more likely, I think. But also, with me running a business, I think my time would still get spent other way, but probably would get more sleep.
When is your earliest class?
7:30.
Do you typically make it to that class?
No,
Are you satisfied with your grades?
somewhat.
Would you say your amount of sleep affects the grades you get?
Somewhat. Yes.
How?
I would say just my attention span, or just in class not being very, I guess, participating, or sometimes I just doze off, you know.
If you were to get more sleep, say 1 or 2 more hours of sleep, do you think your performance would improve?
I think so, because there's those days I don't go to my 7:30 class, so I'll wake up at 9 or 10, and I'll feel better than I do when I have to wake up at a time like 6:40.
So you just heard from a few students about their sleep quality experiences at Louisiana State University in their first year. So I want to talk about some studies that were done. A study from the Preventive Medicine Journal, published in 2019, showed a significant correlation between sleep deprivation and lower GPAs for college students. The CDC says that 60% of students are experiencing poor sleep quality, while 75% of students are experiencing random sleep disturbances. Some advice before I hand you guys off to Jude and Prof. Get some sleep.
Sleep deprivation has a clear effect on how we think. It lowers attention, slows reaction time, and reduces overall alertness. Even small drops in these abilities can impact how well students perform in class and how they function throughout the day.
This impact goes far beyond thinking. Sleep deprivation disrupts emotional regulation in the brain, which makes students more vulnerable to depression, anxiety, and stress. This connection is a major reason the mental health crisis on college campuses continues to grow.
Sleep deprivation also affects the body in serious ways. It throws off hormonal regulation, raises blood pressure, and increases the long-term risk of heart disease. It even heightens the chances of obesity by disrupting hunger and metabolism.
Addressing sleep deprivation is essential, not optional. Encouraging consistent, high-quality sleep is one of the simplest and most powerful ways to protect cognitive performance, emotional health, physical well-being, and overall student success.